Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining our webinar. We will just hold off for a few minutes until everyone has attended. Okay, so thank you all for joining and welcome to our webinar, Spotlight on MENA Solar Markets, where we're going to look at the Kuwait market. My name is Sol. I am the Content and Digital Marketing Associate at MESIA. We are the organizers of this webinar. Today, we are working with our partner, SOLAARABIC, who's helping us with powering this content for you. We're very excited for this great panel we have put today. I will start with introducing our panelists. So joining us today, we have Dr. Amir Al-Hashimi, CEO of Al-Shajara, Dr. Fahad Al-Wasil, Assistant Professor at Abdullah Al-Salim University, Mr. Randir Kumar, Executive Manager for the MENA region at Aqua Power. And we also have Paiju, Product Manager at Rina Solar, and Mr. Abhai, Partner at EE Parthenon, who will be moderating this webinar. Mr. Abhai, I will leave the floor to you.
Thank you, Sol. And not the easiest name to pronounce, but you still did a good job.
Sorry, guys. If I've pronounced anyone's name wrong, I apologize in advance. We have a multinational panel over here.
Yes. It's wonderful to see such a diverse panel, one of my more preferred way of doing a webinar. And I see some old friends and some new. But first of all, good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to welcome you on today's webinar spotlighting the Kuwaiti solar market, an interesting journey which is evolving very rapidly from ambition to action. Kuwait has always been a oil wealth, which is today making very strong and bold strides into its energy transition and diversification phase. I think everybody on this call and anyone who's even closely related to the Kuwait solar market would know about the Shagaya project. I think an ambitious 2 to 4 gigawatt project, which will be powering something about 1.5 to 3 million homes by next summer. And that's where Kuwait is actually moving from a oil-focused economy to a renewable-focused power generation transition. So with that, I've got a very interesting panel here. I've got people from the industry, I've got industrialists, I've got people from the technical equipment suppliers. So let me start with Fahad. Fahad, you come with a very diverse and a very different background. but it would be nice to get your views just as a starting point on what is the capacity, what are the ambitions, how is Kuwait solar market looking?
Thank you very much for the nice introduction. It's really my honor to join you guys in this wonderful webinar. The Shigaya project is very ambitious of a project, as you just mentioned. It has several phases. Phase one has already been accomplished with a total of 70 megawatt, which is already a grid type based system. Phase two is about 3.2 gigawatt. It's still, under study, it's not been fully commissioned. The target of Kuwait industry is to reach more than 15% or about 15% of total power consumption just with using renewable energy. Going through Shigaya, the renewable energy resources in Kuwait is limited. It's not very diverse. We do have a lot of PV, we could use PV panels because of the long days that we have. We could also use some wind as well as some other few resources, but the more like the solar energy is the let's say dominant energy resource in Kuwait.
Wonderful, Fahad. That's interesting. And when you touched upon Shagaya, you highlighted a very interesting point, which is phase one, which was done in-house, and the phase two, which is being tendered out to private sector participation. And with that,
Correct.
I would like to lean on Randir's views coming from Aqua Power, one of the largest in the region, with private sector participation and supporting a lot of economies. So Randir, we know you've, congratulations first of all for being selected as the preferred bidder on the other conventional power plant for Kuwait. We see you bidding in Kuwait quite aggressively with acquisitions and tenders. How has your journey been in Kuwait, seeing the change from EPC-based development more to a PPP-based development?
Thanks, Abhijit, and nice to connect with you again. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to congratulate MESIA for organizing this webinar with a spotlight on Kuwait. So if we compare Kuwait with other countries in GCC, especially on the PPP, Kuwait has not many success story to share, but we are seeing changes. So before I respond to the question, I would like to just give a brief about Aqua Power, which I represent. So Aqua Power was founded in 2004, based out of Saudi, and we have presence across 15 countries, 109 assets, with a power capacity of 93 gigawatt and water capacity of 9 million cubic meter. Right. Now, to answer your question, and especially from an IPP perspective, if my memory serves well, I think Aqua Power is the only IPP which has participated across all the IPP or IWPP tenders in Kuwait. So we have witnessed the changes from 2011 when the first phase of Azure North was bidded out, and to Azure North 2 and 3, which is in the process of project agreement execution. So we are declared as a successful bidder for Azure North 2 and 3, and like you are aware that we are in the process of signing the project agreement. So we have seen the changes from 2011 to 2025, and from 2024 when the bid was launched for 2 and 3 to 2025. So if as a developer, if I have to benchmark the transition of Kuwait enabling more or leaning more towards the private sector participation, then there are two broad parameters. One is on the macro level and second is the micro, right? And there are different permutation combination of it. But on the macro level, we have to see the policymaker intent and the government intent. And I would suggest that we should go through the Kuwait Vision 2035 to look at the intent of the policymaker of Kuwait. where the government is planning or kind of focusing more on the economic diversification, moving away from the oil to other sector, including energy as well as finance, and then promoting the private sector participation, right? And we are seeing the result on the ground. There are projects, especially on the power and water, which was earlier planned to be done on the asset ownership model, right, by the respective entity or the ministry. We are hearing from the ground that ministry is planning to change those projects from the EPC or kind of asset ownership model to PPP model, and which is a good news for developer like us, right? And then on the macro level, if we have to see on the energy transition, then there is already a policy statement or kind of declared policy from the government that by 2030, the intent is to meet 15% of total energy requirement through renewable, and by 2035, extend it to 30%, right? And then recently, government has committed for net zero by 2060, which is a big development from the policy perspective. Now, on the micro level, when I say the micro level, it's different ministries, different people, right from the top to bottom, who are working to make this policy or the intent successful. We have seen the changes. We have seen the changes in terms of streamlining the process. Now, the timeline from the announcement to the bid award, we are seeing that the timeline is reducing. Still, there are a lot of room to further optimize, but this is a positive development. Then there is a plan from MEW, right? So they have declared to bid out 20.6 gigawatt of power, right? Right now, it's primarily focused on gas-based, but going forward, the intent is to come up with more renewable energy-based project, right? And if you recall then that in phase 2 and 3, there was only single bidder, which is Aqua Power, because there was some concern from private players that whether the project will be awarded in the given time period or not. But by seeing the success of Azure 2 and 3, we are seeing a lot of participation in Al Sagaya, right? Many developers who are participating in KSA UAE, they are participating in Al Sagaya, and we are expecting that the number will further increase in upcoming projects. So to conclude on this, I would say that yes, there seems to be intent from the government to move towards private sector, right? Because there are a lot of value that private sector bring to these infrastructure projects.
Wonderful, Randy. That's helpful. So it does align to the first statement I started with. It's moving from ambition to action. So we're seeing more action on ground. But I also like the way you ended it, saying that the last project has led to a lot more participation and interest from private sector. And with that, if I can pivot to Amir, 2 points that Randir made. One is the Vision 2035, and second is the private sector participation and the more interest from international developers. So would love to get your views on how are you seeing the policy benefit or encourage local Kuwaiti developers like yourself? And second, when you've got a lot of international developers coming to a project, does it support your development as a Kuwaiti entrepreneur, or does it drown the local expertise with the big boys coming in?
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank you, MESIA, for the first webinar for Kuwaiti market. My honorable friends in Aqua Power and Dr. Fahad explain about the vision of the market for Kuwait. And if I want to answer you, all right, it's about the roadmap which government placed for Kuwait in 2030, which is 30% of the country. They're gonna use the renewable energy. I'm not gonna go back to 2050, which is gonna be 50%. All right. But if I want to emphasize on the last couple of years, the government are producing more mandates and pushing for private sectors and more project to come. The main one was Shagaya, as you said. And due to that, as our honorable friend in the Aqua Power said, that the tender in Kuwait is taking more time, the government taking the place, and they signed government to government agreement with China for phase 3, zone 3 and 4 for direct cooperation, allow the project goes more fast through more than the normal, like a tendering in tender process in Kuwait. But if now we're looking at the Kuwait and compare the Kuwait to the regional market like Saudi Arabia or UAE, the Saudi Arabia and UAE, the markets become more mature. They have it's reach up the catching up. We're catching up very quickly, all right, on the mandate of the government, and also we have another mandate of the government that all the public and governmental buildings should have 10% of the energy by renewable energy, and we see that, which is helping the market and developers and EPCs to develop, to involved more on this project. Now I go to that other sector. I don't want to take a time of more, but when we're talking about the private sector in the market, I want to say something that Kuwaiti companies, all right, like us, we came as a supplier in the market, and we are a partner with Huawei, and we are certified Huawei, service provider, and we have all type of the financial and supporting to the developers and EPCs and investment. But if I want to say is that the Kuwaiti private sectors, they're not new to the market of renewable energy, maybe for Kuwaiti market, but if you see our histories, our companies has been in the last decade their involvement in the project in Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and in UAE, which we are familiar with the renewable energy, but in Kuwait, we are happy we see this happening in our country.
Wonderful. I think that's really nice that all the expertise that has been gained by Kuwaiti enterprises outside of Kuwait, now they leverage and showcase that in home ground. But there was a very interesting point you touched upon about your partnership with technology providers like Huawei. And with that, if I can get views from Bejahu, how are you seeing Trina Solar coming in with the developers, specifically with Kuwait? Do you have a special market entry strategy, or is this part of your broader MENA, Middle East market entry strategy?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for your questions. Actually, for the Trina ourselves, we are very looking importance on the MEA market, and as equipment suppliers, we provide the PV and also as well as the BESS equipment to the client. And also in nowadays, the BESS has become a critical role in the raising the full value of our solar by ensuring the grid stabilities, the energy reliabilities, and also for the peak shaving capacity. So for the Kuwait, where the solar irradiance is quite high, but for the grid flexibilities still remain limited. So BESS integrations is very vital to balancing the generations with the demand. So we can coupling the PV solars with the BESS equipment to allow the utilities and the C&I players to move from the simple generations project to firm and dispatchable solutions. So as Trina Solars, we has already delivered the multiplied rooftop and distributed solar project in Kuwait. and using our high efficiency modules. So this project highlights the potential for the pairing solar with gas for the greater reliabilities and also for the efficiency. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. That's a nice segue into a very interesting point about battery storage, the BESS project. A lot of regions typically start off with a standard standalone solar PV project and slowly matured into battery storage. But given the timing for Kuwait, battery storage seems to be the right solution on a lot of tick in the boxes. So with that, Randir, can I get your views on what do you think about battery storage as a technology for Shagaya in specific and Kuwait market in general?
Sure, Abhijit. So normally, and you rightly mentioned that in most of the region, they started with the standalone solar projects or renewable projects, and later on graduating towards renewable plus battery. Now, as a policy maker, I have three choices to deploy base system. This can be deployed at the generation side, which is along with PV or wind. Second option is put it in the transmission side near to the substation. And third is on the distribution side, right? And it depends upon the use case and the boundary condition of that country. Now, there is a general misconception right now, especially related to Kuwait, that whether it makes sense to go for battery or not. And the simple reason for that is that there is a shortfall in kind of supply compared to demand. Country is going through load shedding, especially during the summer season. So the misconception is that if there is lack of sufficient renewable energy, then whether it makes sense to go for the battery or not, because battery primarily the use case is to avoid the intermittency of renewable energy. But apart from that, there is another use case for battery, right, which is peak shifting and the grid reliability. And right now, I think it makes sense for policymaker in Kuwait to start with promoting the base system in the transmission side of it, right? Because you have excess generation during the off-peak, and the battery system can be used for peak shifting to meet the demand during the peak load, which will help reducing the load. At the same time, considering the grid is very small and the response time for the battery is in millisecond, it will help you in meeting the grid reliability, right? And by putting the base system near to the transmission, it will help you in achieving or kind of improving the RT losses, right, for the battery system. So as a policymaker, the Kuwait should start with promoting the base system in the transmission side of it. Going forward, in all the RE tenders, they should come with RE plus battery system, right? So kind of to move from the transmission side to the generation side of it. So like Al Sagaya right now, it's a standalone PV system, but in subsequent phase of Al Sagaya and the other RE program, it will be good if government can come up with RE plus battery system, which will help in kind of avoiding the intermittency and help in the peak shifting. Thank you.
Wonderful. So it seems like everybody is a strong supporter of battery, from yourself and everybody on the panel. And with a lot of technology, a lot of systems, a lot of technical terms that you used, Randir, that was helpful. But I have a strong belief with all the mechanics and the nuts and bolts, at the heart of everything is human capital. It is about the people. And this is where, Dr. Fahad, I would love to get your views. You're associated with an institute which is building human capital for solar industry for the country. So I'd love to get your views. What's happening? Is there a need? Is it genuinely today where the need is there, or is it just a forward-looking initiative by the government?
Sure. Thank you for this introduction again. As I mentioned, Abdullah Salem University is a newly established governmental university focused on the new trends of technologies such as cybersecurity, energy system, renewable energies, material science, and environmental also engineering. We do have 9 engineering fields in Abdullah Salam University. We do have a full college called College of Engineering and Energy, focused on state-of-the-art challenges and problems in energy field, specifically the solar and thermal and those kind of major issues. So it is our vision and responsibility to build our own capital to align with the global growth and the global interests, renewable energy and CO2 emission reduction. Also in other institutes like College of Technological Studies, they do have a diploma just to prepare our youth for the coming solar challenges and market.
And that sounds like a good plan where you're providing the supply side of human capital into the sector. And Dr. Amir, I would come back to you, being a local Kuwaiti entrepreneur, businessman, plugged into the ecosystem. Do you believe the policymakers are encouraging the supply side of human capital, local Kuwaiti young graduates who are going to come out of these colleges to get real world experience in projects like Shagaya?
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Carry on.
No, I think is yours, Dr. Fahd.
No, it's fine. I mean, if I can speak after you speak, it's fine.
No, it's all right because you are in the university and you can explain more about regarding the education and how the government implementing that.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Amir. We do have a lot of coming policy. Let's say now the government encourage all the citizens to install the smart meter. This smart meter is not only used to ease the bills and everything. That it's also been used to allow bidirectional power flow measurements. So when you are a household in Kuwait, you could install PV, and you could also the grid is trying to be more smart, so that you could actually still power to the government. They do have an application called Hafiz. This application, you will have a credit. Let's say if you have a PV in-house, you could actually have a credit and save some good amount of your energy bill. And also, there is many scholarships, not only inside Kuwait, also outside Kuwait, to prepare more people in renewable energy field, either directly or indirectly. We do have discipline in robotics and mechatronics. We do have also disciplines in environmental, which is also serves in energy field indirectly. So regarding the policies, there is a law in the government. So in any new established project must be 10% of solar. So it has to be powered with 10% using PVs. So most of the new projects that we have in Kuwait, whether they have some water tanks or some empty area, it will be filled with PVs just to meet that requirement. I believe that our government absolutely encourage the more penetration of renewable energy in Kuwait.
Wonderful. Dr. Amir, I know you
Yes.
had something to add, please.
Sure. Yes, I want to add to Dr. Fahd. He explained very well about the government vision. The not only the government mission. I believe there is a vision of the Highness Sheikh Mash'al Sabah for the Kuwait in 2030. that we go toward more green, and also not only on the green, also preparing the people, all right, and young people to participate on this project which is coming. This is the reason the Ministry of the Higher Education, they did extensive research, and they see what is the demand for today's market is, and where we want to be. And one of the subjects which is sent to the government was that, for people to study renewable energy and to establish these departments which Dr. Fahad explained into the market. If I want to see our, on the private sector in Kuwait, yes, in the private sectors now, with the support of the government, the private sector in Kuwait is starting to play a bigger role. All right, especially as I said, the Kuwaiti government mandate on incentives, and which is shaping the market. If I want to give you an example for that, there was a project by colleagues on alternative energy, which they're using Huawei as well for their inverters, which we involved on that project. And this project is for power purchase agreement, which we expecting to be the range of 10 to 20 fels per kilowatt per hour, but is not official yet. Which I believe it's going to be another game changer for the private sectors. Although these projects will be at only 30 megawatts, but more important, which I believe, is show that the private sector is now engaging and ready, and we're going to be more involved in this project for private sector, with the help, of course, with the new graduate from the university and young Kuwaitis.
Wonderful. That sounds like a lovely plan, a very thought out vision leading to a proper implementation plan within Kuwait. And Dr. Emir, you touched upon a good 30 megawatt project. With that, let me get views of Beja on CNI. So there's a lot that Solar is doing on CNI, small scale projects. How are you seeing the market develop? And is this a natural going to be extended into something like Shagaya? Or are these two absolutely independent and mutually exclusive but growing markets?
Okay, thanks for your questions. And actually, from China Solar side, we are working as a global equipment supplier. So actually, we are facing a lot of difficulties, and especially like in Middle East Asia also. So for the CNI scenarios, actually, we would like to combine the PV and BESS together and provide the more flexible renewable power to the customers. And but from our side, actually, we need to conquer the challenge in facing now, like the regulation frameworks. So we absence of the clear policies for the storage deployment, and that will be limited for the no matter the CNI or the large scale adoptions. And also like the grid in infrastructure. So we would like to switching all the transmissions, the power to the one side to the another side. So the many regions grid are still being upgraded. So to integrate the renewable powers and storage efficiently. And also, we think for the MEA regions, we are also facing some like the climate and the technical adoptions challenges. So the storage and PV and PV inverters and the PCS system so must be engineered for the harsh Gulf climate with the high heat and or the humidity. And I think for the another side is like the awareness gap. So for the rooftop and the distributor solars, so it has been becoming more common, but the added value for the storage now is still not fully understood by many stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. That's helpful. And I like where you've touched upon certain limitations and areas of improvement or the ask from the private sector. And with that, Ranit, I would love to get your views. You touched upon a very nice point about asset ownership model versus PPP model and how that is the transition that we're seeing in Kuwait. But linking to Bijo's point, what do you feel are the limitations or the strengths of either model compared to the other? And how is Kuwait leveraging and utilizing this in their evolution?
Thanks, Abhijit. So, like I mentioned, that there are, as a policymaker, there are two models, right? So one is the asset ownership, where the government takes responsibility of construction operation and subsume all the risk associated with the asset. The second is the PPP model, which is being more followed in the other countries, right? Kuwait, for certain reason, they have banked more on the first model, which is the asset ownership model, and there are very limited success story on the PPP. So there is no clear answer that which model is good and which model is bad. It depends upon the boundary condition and constraint. So there are projects which may be of, let's say, national security or some geopolitical. In that case, government would like to follow the first model. While the other countries in this region, they have migrated more towards the PPP model. So if you look at the risk allocation perspective, in the first model, government takes all the risk, right? Subsume all the risk throughout the plant of, throughout the design life of the plant. While in the second model, it's a optimized risk allocation. So the party which is better equipped to mitigate that risk assume the responsibility of that particular risk. So like all the construction, operation risk is taken by the private player. While the risk, let's say, change in law or government risk event, it's assumed by the off-taker. So it's a balanced risk allocation, which helps in achieving the lower LCOE. The second is that technology, right, or the innovation. Since a developer, the private player, they keep participating in multiple countries, multiple projects. So there is a steep learning curve, and it's possible for the private player to quickly include that learning in the next tender, right? So compared to a government sector, the private sector is better placed to incorporate the new technological advancement without compromising on the reliability. The third is the pace of deployment, right? And Kuwait especially needs the rapid deployment of energy assets, right? To start with, they have to focus more on the energy security, and then at the same time, they have to take care of the energy transition also. So on that yardstick, in my view, the private player is more kind of equipped to quickly deploy the power plant, right? And third is the total cost of ownership. Because there is a lot of competition, if you go for the PPP model, each player is kind of constrained to come up with innovative ideas. The innovative ideas in terms of the technology, in terms of the financial, right? So that the off-taker will have the lowest cost, right, to get that energy and water in the long term. And not only the lowest cost, the off-taker doesn't have to incur the substantial upfront cost, right? Because this will be as per the usage. So once plant goes into the operation, then off-taker has to pay to the private player as per the performance. So right now, in my view, I think the intent is there from the policymaker. There should be more and more projects where the private participation should be encouraged. That will help the government in achieving the lowest cost, more reliable plant, and help them in achieving their goal of energy transition.
Wonderful, Randeep. That's helpful. Dr. Fahad, we heard Randeep's view as what Aqua Power is seeing around the region. And a lot of times, international developers look at it from outside in. They look at it sideways of what's happening in different jurisdictions. But I would love to get your views from an inside out point of view. You've been in Kuwait, you've seen the development, evolution of the sector, of the industry. What are your views and potentially in terms of between the asset ownership, which has been predominant in Kuwait, versus the new model of PPP, which is coming up? Second, Randy did stress a lot about the vision and the implementation of policymakers. So on both of these points, would love to get your views as a Kuwaiti citizen, as well as a person who is very closely involved with the sector.
Yeah, and thank you for that. The Kuwait experience is actually unique. We do have one of the earliest CSP models installed in 80s actually by KESR Institute, the research center in Kuwait. So we do have a lot of, let's say, history on that. But unfortunately, the PV that put in large scale commission, which is a Shigaya, it's also considered as a pilot. It's been commissioned by 2019, actually December 2018, but first of January 2019. So we do have let's say a gap, let's say in implementation. But as we mentioned before, now the power consumption increased rapidly, and the existing power plant are not meeting the demands. So employing another energy resource is very important. And also I have a point on storage system. By the way, the power storage cost has been increased by a factor of 90% from 2010 to 2020. And also another factor, also the PV panel cost being reduced like very fast. That will ease the deployment of installing a new PV power plant. The case of Shigaya, it's a very unique case. It's not an only solar power plant. It's actually a hybrid power plant. So Shigaya employ a CSP, which is one of the largest thermal storage, by the way, not only thermal generation, you're only using the parabolic trough and the thermal storage. The Shigaya storage power plant can be put in operation for 10 hours. So it is one of the largest storage power plant in the region, at least at the time of commission. So from my point of view, we do have need, we do have a demand, we do have a new projects coming by next year's. But I mean, let's be very optimistic on that, and we hope this plan being deployed. I do believe in the private sector working together with the public sector, but the power grid in Kuwait is not as other typical grids. Our cost is, our kilowatt hour cost is just 2 fils. It's one of the cheapest kilowatt hour, in the world actually, not all in Kuwait. That's put many challenges in having distribution business and generation business. So hopefully with the new projects, that problem can be solved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. That's helpful. Dr. Amir, I will pose the same question to you. As a Kuwaiti citizen and someone who's seen the evolution of the sector and be very close to the sector as a consumer plus contributor to the sector, how have you seen the evolution of Kuwait and where do you see this going forward?
Yes, thank you for your question. And I want to add to Dr. Fahad's statement as well. In contribution, it's going, if I can say, as I mentioned, we've been late runner, but now market is becoming so fast because I believe the market and the mandates and the policies all together is shaped up now. All right. And the government, they know, the Ministry of the Water and Electricity, the private sectors, EPCs, developers, everybody now in their positions, and they know what's going on in the market. And this is the reason I believe the market is gonna go fast. Everything is on the rail, basically. Come back to Dr. Fahad talk. The Kuwaiti government, they paying 200 million every year for subsidizing and supporting the water and electricity in Kuwait. This is the reason we have the cheapest electricity. By going toward the green energy and renewable energy, all right, we could so much save these funds and use it in the better way. Also, all our electricity is built by burning the oil, all right, which we can use this oil in the petrochemicals for better use. If the barrel of the oil, it's a $90, we say we can make a 300, not we burn it and we make electricity. All right, the government, they came to the sense, and the people now, by placing the meters, and all the advisories which they're giving to the people, now everybody, I believe, all together we are in the same page. And I want to emphasize that the Kuwaiti renewable market sectors now is moving very quick, and with the right partnership and commitment, we believe we can achieve what is the government and country vision is.
Thank you. That's helpful, and I like where you stopped with the country vision. I see from this conversation one of the biggest tangible outcomes of the vision document is the Shagaya project, something that apparently every one of you is very close to. So before I close, I would love to get everybody's view on top three things that you see about Shagaya in terms of what can be improved, or rather what is being done differently and in a better fashion compared to the past, or something which is your wish list from this project. So Dr. Amir, if I can start with you, your views on the Shagaya project?
Yes, I believe Shagaya project is turning the oil industry upside down in the good way for Kuwait, and it's a remarkable shift. It's a remarkable start for this project, because the involvement of the so many international companies in this, and bringing even regional and international cooperation to doing this project is very, very good beginning and good start for Kuwaiti market. And as I said before, I believe this Shagaya project is going to be the tip of the iceberg. We're going to have much more projects coming, especially on the private sectors. For example, we had international, they came to us because the Kuwaiti market, they saying, you are expertise in the renewable energy. We last month, we did invest in the 300 megawatt project in the Montenegro, all right? And why was that? Is because of the all announcement, all participation in the country, and with the private sectors. What I believe, for example, Aqua Power. Now, before Aqua Power was with all in the region, not in Kuwait. We see the participation of Aqua Power and also the suppliers. Today, the Hawaii, we giving a very beautiful job and services to our customers. we are certified service provider. We're taking care of our customers, before and after sales. I see is all because of that vision, is all because of the opening in the market and putting the clear and visible policies in the place. And I will say I see it very, very, very for upcoming years. I see the Kuwait is a hot spot for energy in our GCC countries.
Wonderful. That's a very positive and a strong outlook, with the policies setting the framework and moving into implementation. And since you give an example of aqua power, Radhir, where can I go? I have to come to you. Your views on Shagaya.
Thanks, Abhijit. So yes, so I would I would take some luxury, right? So not only in the Sagaya, but in the context of Sagaya, we as a developer would like to kind of have a wish list, right? So since you have asked for 3 wish list, so the first is, and we are seeing changes, right? So but there is room for improvement to reduce the timeline from the bid announcement to bid award. We have seen that changes from Azure North to Sagaya and hopefully we will see the same change in a better way in phase 2 of Al Sagaya, right? So that is the first thing that government can work on. Second is focus more on the grid strengthening to have reliability and deployment of base. So what do I mean by that? So if you look at the structure of Sagaya, the developer has to construct the grid substation, not only for this phase, but to cater for subsequent phases also. And which is a kind of a bottleneck from the deployment of project per se. If you look at the project schedule, the timeline for the project is lesser than the timeline to commission the GSS, right? So the policymaker can take proactive steps, identify the location, the new Al Sagaya's location, and start working on award of power evacuation system upfront, right? So that by the time the developer is ready with the plant, the grid is ready to evacuate that. And at the same time, there is an option to integrate the base in all upcoming renewable tender. The third is that more commitment on the energy transition goal and not only focusing on the utility scale solar projects, which is the good thing to do in the first place, but there are other avenues to achieve this energy transition. So one of our panelists, I think Dr. Ami, he mentioned about the CNI, right? So government can do or kind of give more incentive to encourage the rooftop solar. I think there is already a net metering provision, so it can be more incentivized to for the citizen to come up and for the industry to encourage the rooftop solar. And at the same time, I think we are ignoring this wind project, right? So although if you compare the GCC, Kuwait may not have the highest wind resources. Oman is having better wind resources compared to Kuwait, but Kuwait is having a good wind resources, right? And there are good, I would say, potential to touch on the wind energy, because wind is kind of a complementary to solar, right? So if you want to have energy transition, it's better to go with a hybrid system of solar and wind coupled with the BESS. So these are the kind of a broad 3 wish list from Aqua Power as a developer that we would like government to work on.
Thank you, Randy. That's helpful. And with that, quickly, I'll pivot to Dr. Fahad. Your views on Shagaya.
Yeah, thank you. I also would like to bring the wind point again. I totally agree with actually the Shigaya location was picked because it's in a wind tunnel area. So not because of the solar radiation area, because all Kuwait have a very high radiation or radius area. But the Shigaya location was picked because of the let's say relatively higher average speed, more than maybe 7 meters per second. So and In this case, it will be like viable on integrating more windmills. Currently, we only have 5 wind towers. Each one generate 2 megawatt. I really hope that we have more to reach in gigawatt scale, especially that the one that we have only have a height of 79 meter. Now there is also in newer and better wind towers. Also on PV side, on Shigaya phase 1, there were 2 types of PV were installed: the polycrystalline and the thin film. And now also there are many actually topologies and technologies with better efficiency and more harvesting capabilities. And also in case of battery storage, we do have a high temperature elevation, but you know, in Kuwait we have one of the highest temperature actually in the world, so that degrades the batteries and also the PVs, by the way. And this is one of the challenges that we have to encounter. But just to summarize, my wish list is to integrate more windmills, to employ the state of art of technologies in microinverters and instead of central inverter, and also to have more rules and protocols to support PV integration and other type of renewable energies integration. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fahad. We are just on top of the hour, but I would quickly love to get Bejazu's views on Shagaya project.
Thank you for your questions. So I think it's a very good beginning for us, and it will give us more expectations for the projecting in MEA region. So as a best supplier, PV suppliers, we think that the best adoptions will accelerate as region utilities move forwards, and the high renewable penetrations target. So also for the cost will be falling, and more advancing technologies will be used, and that will be makes the project more more efficiently and more bankable. So for the China Solar, we have the leading PV manufacturers, and also for the best providers. We are ready to deliver the integrated solutions for the project, and also for the next decades, we expect that the policies frameworks will be to involve in favor of the storage, driving the significant growth in the both Kuwait and for the wide Middle East Asia countries. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all. I would love to hear so much more from all of you all, but maybe sometime later. On today's call, it's been wonderful to get your views. For me, it's been very enlightening, and I think I can say that safely for all the audience. We've learned something new. We've understood Kuwait market a lot better. And my takeaway is it's a market to be in. It's got the future, it's got the vision, it's got implementation. And wrapping up, I see Kuwait market, as I started the session with, it's moving from ambition to action. Thank you all. Sol, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you.
So you are on mute.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thanks for all the attendees for joining this webinar. And above all, I want to say thank you to all our panelists. Thank you guys so much for joining, for incorporating your expertise and sharing details about Kuwait. What we've learned is definitely that Kuwait is a market to keep a close eye on. There's a lot of potential, and we're very confident and sure that slowly it's just going to keep growing. So one of the reasons why we started the webinar series Spotlight on different MENA markets, starting with Kuwait, is to bring shed a light on these markets that are growing and have a lot of potential. So once again, thank you. Our next webinar is going to be focusing on the Moroccan market. So that will be for our attendees. If you're interested in finding out more, it will take place on November 11th. And for more details, you can reach out to our team and keep an eye on our website and our social media. For anyone who's interested, because I saw a question, just quickly to wrap it up, yes, this webinar will be shared on our platform. So we will upload it on our YouTube channel and on our social media platforms. Thank you all once again. And I hope you have a great day. And thanks to Abait. I hope that I pronounced this right this time. Yeah, I
Yes.
started about it. Dr. Fahad and Dr. Amir, thank you. Randir and Paju, I don't know how to say it, I'm sorry. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.